Joan was a bright girl with big dreams. She lived in a small town surrounded by tall trees and colorful flowers. Joan loved to explore nature, read books, and spend time with her friends. But there was one thing that made her heart race more than anything else: love. Joan had a crush on a boy named Tom. Tom was kind and funny, and he had the most wonderful smile. They had known each other since they were kids, playing in the park and riding bikes together. As they grew older, Joan found herself thinking about Tom more often. She loved the way he laughed and how he always made her feel special. One sunny afternoon, Joan and Tom decided to go on an adventure. They had planned a picnic by the river, a place they both loved. Joan packed sandwiches, fruits, and some cookies. She was excited but also nervous. She wanted everything to be perfect. When they arrived at the river, the sun was shining bright, and a gentle breeze made the leaves dance. They spread out a blanket and sat down. Tom helped Joan unpack the food, and they laughed as they shared stories while eating. Joan felt happy and comfortable around Tom, but she also felt butterflies in her stomach. After they finished eating, they decided to play by the water. They splashed each other, giggling and running around. Joan loved the way Tom looked at her, with his playful eyes filled with joy. As they played, Joan couldn't help but think about how much she liked him. "Let's have a race to the big tree," Tom shouted, pointing to a tall tree across the river. Joan nodded, and they both took off running. They laughed and cheered each other on as they raced. Joan was fast, but Tom was faster. He reached the tree first and turned around, grinning widely. "You're too slow, Joan," he teased, sticking out his tongue. Joan put her hands on her hips, pretending to be angry. "I let you win," she said, trying to hide her smile. As they rested under the shade of the tree, Joan felt a warm feeling in her heart. She looked at Tom, who was lying on the grass, looking up at the sky. The sun was setting, painting the sky with beautiful shades of orange and pink. It was a perfect moment. "Joan, do you remember when we were kids?" Tom asked suddenly, turning to look at her. "We used to pretend we were explorers searching for treasure." Joan laughed. "Yes, and we always found the best treasures, like candy and cool rocks." Tom smiled. "Those were good times, but I think now we have something even better." Joan's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" she asked, feeling curious. I think we have something special between us," he said softly, his eyes searching hers. Joan felt her cheeks turn red. She wanted to tell Tom how she felt, but the words got stuck in her throat. Instead, she nodded slowly, her heart pounding. "I feel it too," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom smiled wider, and they both sat in silence for a moment, feeling the warmth of the evening and the magic of their friendship changing into something more. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sky turned darker, and stars began to twinkle. Joan and Tom decided to head back to the picnic spot. They packed up the things, but Joan could feel the excitement in the air. "Joan, can I tell you something?" Tom asked as they walked back together, their arms brushing against each other. "Of course," she replied, her heart racing. "I've liked you for a long time. You're amazing, and I really want to be more than friends," he confessed, stopping to look deep into her eyes. Joan's heart fluttered. She had dreamed about this moment and now it was happening. "I like you too, Tom. I've wanted to tell you for so long," she exclaimed, feeling a rush of happiness. Tom smiled, and in that moment, everything felt right. The world around them faded away, and it was just the two of them. They stood close, their faces inches apart, and Joan could see the kindness in Tom's eyes. "Can I?" Tom started, his voice soft and nervous. "Can you what?" Joan asked, her heart pounding in anticipation. "Can I kiss you?" he asked, his cheeks turning pink. Joan took a deep breath. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. "Yes," she whispered, smiling shyly. Tom leaned in slowly, giving Joan time to pull away if she wanted. But she didn't want to move. She closed her eyes, and their lips met softly. It was a gentle kiss, full of sweetness and warmth. It felt like magic, and Joan's heart soared. When they pulled away, they both smiled at each other, a mixture of surprise and happiness in their eyes. "Wow," Joan breathed, feeling the butterflies dance in her stomach. "Wow," Tom echoed, looking a little dazed. They stood there for a moment, both feeling the thrill of their first kiss. It was a moment they would always remember. The world around them was quiet, and the stars twinkled brightly above, as if celebrating their new beginning. As they walked back home, hand in hand, Joan felt happier than ever. She knew that this was just the start of something beautiful. They talked and laughed, sharing their hopes and dreams, feeling closer than ever. From that day on, Joan and Tom's friendship blossomed into a wonderful romance. They spent more time together, going on adventures, studying together, and supporting each other. They had fun, and they learned more about love and trust. Joan often thought back to that day by the river. It was a day of laughter, butterflies, and a kiss that changed everything. She realized that love could be simple and beautiful, just like the moments they shared. Their first kiss became a cherished memory, a symbol of the growing connection. As they continued their journey together, They learned that love was not just about the magical moments but also about being there for each other through thick and thin. Joan felt grateful for that day, for Tom, and for the love that had blossomed between them. She knew they had many adventures ahead, and she couldn't wait to see where their journey would take them next.